Welcome back. Today, we are diving into a truly fascinating explainer. We're going to completely unpack the hidden architecture of digital verification infrastructure. We're talking about a deep dive analysis of a recent anonymous expert report that absolutely tears down how these centralized status verification mechanisms actually operate behind the scenes. We're going to strip away all that dense, surface-level bureaucratic jargon and look strictly at the core ideas, the hidden mechanics, and the exact cause and effect relationships that make this whole thing tick. So if you're ready to get past the generic explanations and uncover the actionable insights, and honestly, the incredibly non-obvious details of modern bureaucratic architecture, well, you're definitely in the right place. Let's get right into it. Okay, so here's our roadmap for the analysis. We'll kick things off with Section 1, the verification conduit function. Then we'll move into initiating the query mechanism, followed by anomalies and manual review. After that, we'll cover tracking interface mechanics, and we'll wrap the whole thing up with the burden of accuracy. All right, starting with Section 1, the verification conduit function. To really understand this entire architecture, we first need to tackle a massive misconception right out of the gate regarding what this digital system actually is. According to the expert report, officially, this system is an interagency query conduit. Basically, it's a secure routing mechanism designed to query external federal records. But here is the critical, non-obvious detail. It is not a database itself. It maintains absolutely zero individual records. I know, you'd probably assume a massive government verification system is just this giant monolithic vault of data, right? But analytically speaking, it functions purely as a digital highway. It takes a query from a requesting agency, transports it to the relevant external databases, and then just brings the answer back. It stores nothing. And this is an absolutely crucial architectural distinction because it essentially dictates every single thing the system can and cannot do. Functionally, this means the architecture is strictly bound by some major limitations. Its capabilities, it routes queries to external records, and it returns data to requesting agencies. That's the whole shebang. On the flip side, its limitations are huge. It cannot correct data errors, and it cannot determine benefit eligibility. Because it's merely a conduit, it completely lacks the jurisdiction, the actual systemic power to fix a typo in your record or to decide if an applicant ultimately receives a benefit. Think about the cause and effect here. If the external data is wrong, the conduit simply relays that wrong data back. Bad data at the source equals a bad verification result, period. The system is fundamentally just a messenger, not a judge. Moving right along to Section 2, initiating the query mechanism. So how do we actually trigger this messenger? Well, to initiate the query loop, a very precise, rigid sequence of inputs is required from the applicant. First, you have to provide current biographics, think name, date of birth, things like that. Second, the requested benefit type. And third, a unique numeric identifier. The cause and effect relationship for a successful automated query relies absolutely on this exact sequence. The system literally uses this specific string of data to go hunt through those external records. If even a single digit is missing or inaccurate, the automated routing just fails entirely. It's a zero-tolerance, strict mechanical input-output equation. But here is where it gets incredibly interesting. How can we optimize this input? The expert report highlights a fascinating systemic efficiency catalyst. Supplying multiple unique numeric identifiers significantly accelerates the query process by maximizing search pathways. Think about it like this. If you only provide one number, the conduit has exactly one single path to search the external databases. But if you provide 2 or 3 different identifiers, like say an entry number and a receipt number, you're handing the system redundant pathways. And redundancy directly correlates to faster resolution times because it drastically increases the mathematical probability of a quick match in those external records. It's a totally non-obvious detail, but it gives the applicant a real, tangible lever to pull for faster processing. Which brings us to Section 3, anomalies and manual review. So what happens when that perfect input-output equation breaks down? Let's look at the systemic bottlenecks.
The system's efficiency reality breaks down like this. 85% of the time, the conduit finds an instant resolution. We're talking usually within 3 to 5 seconds. The automated routing works perfectly. But 15% of the time, the system hits an anomaly. The data doesn't align perfectly, and the case gets kicked straight into the manual review queue. When a case drops into this 15% bucket, an actual human being has to step in and manually verify the records. And here is an incredibly important operational metric to keep in mind for the real world. Manual review processing times are strictly measured in federal workdays. That means weekends do not count, holidays do not count. Hitting an anomaly instantly shifts your timeline from literal seconds to days or even weeks of bureaucratic waiting. Now, this is exactly where we find a crucial procedural safeguard. The expert report explicitly states a response requiring additional action is not a final response. It cannot be used to deny a benefit. This is a massive analytical distinction. A delayed mechanical response, that 15% manual review anomaly, does not equal legal or administrative ineligibility. The conduit is simply raising its hand and saying, hey, I can't automate this. It is absolutely not saying, this person is denied. The underlying assumption baked into the architecture here is that automated systems will inevitably fail to seamlessly match complex human data sometimes. So they had to build in a fail-safe that prevents a simple automated glitch from resulting in an automatic denial. All right, let's look at Section 4, Tracking Interface Mechanics. Because 15% of cases get stuck in that manual review queue, there obviously has to be a way to monitor the bottleneck. Enter the public-facing tracking tool. But this interface has a very specific and frankly rigid logic to it. The critical constraint here is that tracking access requires the exact same numeric identifier utilized by the requesting agency during initiation. This is a strict interface mechanic. You have to remember, digital systems track data strings. They don't track human identities. The tracking system doesn't know who you are as a person. It only knows the numeric query string that was launched into the conduit. If the agency used identifier A to start the query, but you try to track it using identifier B, the interface will return a mismatch, even if both of those identifiers legally belong to you. You absolutely must match the exact initial input parameters to open the tracking route. And when you do finally successfully access the interface, it gives you one of two binary outputs. Under review simply means the query is pending manual verification. A human is still looking at it. Return to agency means the query loop is officially closed, and you should proceed back to the agency. But notice what it intentionally does not say. It doesn't say approved, and it doesn't say denied. It solely tracks the procedural status of the conduit, not the underlying eligibility status of the applicant. Again, the conduit's only job is just to deliver the message. Once that message is delivered, return to the agency, the conduit's role is completely over. The final decision rests entirely with the requesting agency. Finally, let's wrap things up with Section 5, the burden of accuracy. Let's unpack the implicit assumptions regarding data integrity within this whole framework. Based on everything we've analyzed, the expert report offers a really clear set of actionable insights. First, you must provide the most recently issued documents. Second, supply multiple identifiers whenever possible to create those redundant search pathways. But the most important takeaway? Any records must be updated directly with the source agencies prior to the query because, as we established, this verification system cannot fix source errors. Look really closely at the implicit assumption here. The systemic burden of correcting data asymmetry falls entirely on the applicant. Because the conduit is just a messenger, it is completely reliant on the absolute perfection of external data. If your data is wrong at the source, you have to go to the source to fix it before you initiate the query. The system will not and structurally cannot do it for you. Which brings us to an absolutely fascinating analytical conclusion to leave you with today. If the verification conduit relies entirely on the perfection of external data, and it totally lacks any power to correct errors or grant benefits itself, who truly holds the power over eligibility? Is it this highly advanced digital conduit, or is it actually the foundational and often incredibly fragmented external record-keeping agencies? It's a pretty provocative thought about the design of bureaucratic verification systems, isn't it? The conduit is incredibly fast, but its accuracy is entirely captive to the quality of the data it retrieves. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this Anomaly deep dive. I hope this structured look at the hidden mechanics and cause and effect relationships leaves you eager to analyze these things even deeper. Keep questioning the systems around you.